So what if I told you the reason you felt overwhelmed, resentful, or constantly drained isn't because people are asking too much of you, but because you're saying yes when you really should be saying no? Let's talk about boundaries. Talk about why they're so hard to set and how you can finally start honoring them. Let's get started. Welcome to the Catalyst Podcast, and I'm your host, Jason. Catch us on all your favorite platforms. We got the Facebook. We got the YouTube, the Instagram, Threads, and TikTok. You can also listen to our episodes on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and our home on Podbean. Hey, let us be the spark that fuels the journey to a more fulfilling life. Together we can explore new ideas and unlock your potential. We want to hear from you. So, if you're interested in being a guest or a contributor, please reach out to us at catalystmotivationpodcast@gmail.com. That's catalystmotivationpodcast@gmail.com. Join the community today and be part of something truly transformative. And folks, check out my first book, The Ways of Compromise. It's out now on digital and paperback. Welcome to episode 122, The Boundary Blueprint. Okay, let me paint a picture. You're at work. It's 4:55 p.m. You've mentally clocked out. You're dreaming of dinner and sweatpants. Then all of a sudden a coworker swings by and says, Hey there, can you help me with this real quick? You hesitate. You want to say no. You need to say no. But what comes out is, sure, no problem. And just like that, your evening's gone. Or maybe it's your family. Your cousin asked you to borrow money again. Now you've helped before and it didn't go well. But you don't want to seem like cold or selfish. So you say yes again. And then you feel guilty, but also kind of angry. And then the guilt you're feeling is really, really anger, right? Or what about maybe that go-to friend you have? The one who always listens. You know, you're that person, that go-to person. You're the one who's always listening, always shows up, always gives. But lately, you're running on fumes and you want space, but you're afraid of disappointing people. So you keep giving and giving until your tank is empty. Any of those three sound familiar? I'm sure they do. But let's slow it down for a moment. Right? Why are boundaries so hard? It's that moment, that feeling when someone asks you for something, your time, your energy, your help, and your gut says no, but your mouth says yes. And then you walk off feeling off, maybe even a little resentful, maybe a little drained. But mostly you feel like you betrayed yourself. Why is that? Here's the truth. Boundaries are hard. And boundaries are hard because they challenge our deepest fears. Not surface level fears, not I might be late for dinner fears. I'm talking about the fears that live in our bones. Let's name them. Okay? But before we do that, if you like what you're hearing, please make sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Okay? So here's one of them. We have a fear of rejection. Next to abandonment, one of my biggest fears. We're social creatures. Connection isn't a luxury. It's a survival instinct. So when we imagine saying no, our brain doesn't think they might be annoyed. It thinks they might leave. I might be alone. This fear often comes from early experiences, childhood experiences. Maybe you were the easy kid, right? The one who didn't make waves. Maybe love felt earned, not given. So now saying no feels like gambling with your worth. But here's the reframe, folks. Saying no doesn't push people away. It invites the right ones to come closer. Okay, what about the fear of being seen as selfish? Let's be honest, especially if you're raised in a culture or a family that praises self-sacrifice and boundaries, it can feel like betrayal. You might think, if I say no, I'm being selfish. But pause. Is it selfish to protect your peace? Is it selfish to protect your peace? Is it selfish to honor your limits? No, it's not. It's called self-respect. And here's a little reminder. There's a difference between being self-centered and being self-aware. Because boundaries aren't about shutting people out. They're about letting people in without losing yourself. Here's another one. How about fear of conflict? And I'm sure this is a big one for a lot of people out there. Conflict is uncomfortable. Like, it's sweaty palms and racing heart territory, so we avoid it. We just say yes to keep the peace. But here's the irony of that. Peace without honesty isn't peace. It's performance. And if you've been a performer, you know performance is exhausting. Healthy conflict isn't about yelling or drama. It's about truth. It's about saying, this is what I need, and trusting that the relationship can hold it. Don't be afraid to have needs. So fear of conflict. All right. Next one. Another fear. Fear of losing love or approval. Ooh. Let's talk about this one. This cuts deep. Because for many of us, love has felt conditional. You know it, and I know it. We've learned that being liked means being agreeable. That being loved means being available. That being accepted means being easy to deal with. So we shrink. We soften. We say yes when we really mean no. And slowly, but surely, the person who we are disappears. But here's the truth bomb. If someone only loves you when you're convenient, that is not love. That's control. Real love includes space. Real love respects you, no. Real love doesn't ask you to abandon yourself. Let me repeat that. Real love does not ask you to abandon yourself. Don't give up who you are for someone else. Okay, let's move on. Woof. Connection versus compliance. Connection versus compliance. Now, we're wired for connection. That's not the problem. The problem is that somewhere along the way, we confused connection with compliance. We started believing that to be loved, we had to be agreeable. That to belong, we had to be available. To be safe, we had to be silent. I can talk about my last two relationships where there were certain things that couldn't be talked about. Otherwise, you would be ridiculed by friends, colleagues, or whatever. Don't give up yourself for that. It's not worth it. But here's the kicker. Saying yes to everything isn't kindness. It's self-abandonness. It's self-abandonment. Absolutely. And self-abandonment is the lowest kind of heartbreak. It's the kind that doesn't scream. It whispers. It whispers, you don't matter. Your needs are too much. Just keep everybody else happy. But you do matter. You do matter. Listen to me. You matter. Your needs are valid. And keeping everyone happy at the cost of your own well-being isn't noble, it's unsustainable. So stop it. So let's take a step back. Let me ask you something. Where in your life are you saying yes out of fear and not truth? Where in your life are you saying yes out of fear and not truth? That's where your next boundary belongs. And remember, boundaries are not walls. They're bridges. They don't shut people out. They show people how to meet you where you are. According to a study published by the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, people are significantly more likely to say yes to requests, even when it causes personal stress, because they overestimate how negatively others will react to the no. Translation, you'll think they hate you. You think you think they hate you. I know, because that was me. But the reality is, they'll probably just say, okay. And if they do hate you for having boundaries, that's a good thing. That's a very good thing. That's a big sign. Also, let's be honest. If boundaries were easy, we'd all be walking around like Oprah, right? You get a boundary, you get a boundary, you get a boundary. But we're not. We're more like, you get a boundary, unless you look disappointed, then never mind, right? So how can we overcome this struggle? How can we overcome this struggle when it comes to boundaries? Here are 5 ways to do it. Grab your pen, your paper, your Sharpie, a piece of paper, a notebook, your phone, whatever. Here are 5 ways to begin building better boundaries without burning bridges or losing yourself in the process. Number 1, I've said this in a few podcasts so far, at least the last couple. Start small. Start small. And I'm not talking small, I'm talking micro small. Think of boundaries like strength training. You don't walk into a gym and deadlift 300 pounds on day 1, right? If you do, that's pretty impressive, but you don't, right? You start off with what you can lift, and you build from there. So don't begin with your most emotionally charged relationship. Start with something low stakes. Maybe saying no to a meeting that doesn't need you. Or how about declining a social invite when you're exhausted? Every time you honor your limits, you're building the boundary muscle. And like any muscle, it gets stronger with use. Hey, I'd love to help you today, but I'm really at capacity. That's a boundary. And guess what? It's beautiful. So start small. All right, let's move on to number 2. But before we move on to number 2 again, folks, if you like what you're hearing, please share it. Please like it. Please subscribe it. Please comment. We'd really appreciate it. And we love putting this out for you, and we love hearing from you. All right, let's get back into it. So number 2, use I statements. Use I statements. I mean, let's be honest. Boundaries can feel confrontational, but they don't have to be. Instead of pointing fingers, why don't we turn inward? I statements shift the focus from blame to clarity. Instead of, you're always asking too much of me, why don't we try saying, I've realized I need more downtime to recharge. It's less about accusing and more about expressing. And when you speak from truth, people are more likely to listen because you're inviting them into your experience and you're not attacking theirs. So put the focus on you. I need some me time. I need to take a step away from this. Use I statements. That was number 2. Number 3, delay your response. This is a good one. So it's actually it's a great sales tactic too. The first one speaks, loses, right? But it's a game changer. You'll have to answer right away. If someone asks you for something and you feel that internal panic, like, oh, pause. Say this. You know what? Let me think about that and get back to you. What does that do? Well, it buys you some time to check in with yourself, time to ask, do I actually want to do this? Right? It shifts you from reactive to intentional. And intentional boundaries, those are the ones that stick. So, pause. Number 3, delay your response. Let's move on to number 4. And number 4 is expect discomfort. I know, it sucks. Let's not sugarcoat it. Setting boundaries can feel really, really weird. I mean, you might feel guilty, awkward, maybe even a little selfish. But that's normal. Discomfort doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. It means you're doing something new. And new things feel strange at first, right? Think about breaking in a new pair of shoes, right? At first they pinch, but over time they mold out to your feet and suddenly they're your favorite shoes. So when discomfort hits, don't run. Breathe. Stay with it. It's the growing pains of self-respect. I've said this in a couple of episodes. You're either facing a storm, in a storm, or coming out of a storm. You can try and run away from the storm, but it's going to chase you. Try to go around it, but you don't know how big or wide it is. You got to go through it. You got to face the storm. And while in the storm, feel and understand what the storm is. So when you come out of it, you come out of it better on the other side. All right. Expect discomfort is number 4. Our last one, number 5, visualize your energy as currency. All right. Here's a metaphor that changes everything. Imagine you wake up each day with 100 energy dollars. Okay? 100 energy dollars. Every task, every conversation, every favor or commitment costs you something. Saying yes to everything is like handing out 20s at a party and wondering why you're broke by noon. Boundaries are your budget. Boundaries are your budget. They help you spend wisely, save intentionally, and invest in what truly matters. So before you say yes, ask, is this worth my energy dollars today? Because your energy is valuable, and you deserve to spend it on things that nourish you, not just things that need you. So treat your energy as currency. All right, that's the 5. Use them. Especially that energy as a currency one is one of my favorites. Okay. So before we go, final thoughts are this. Boundaries aren't about pushing people away. They're about pulling yourself back into alignment. They're not a rejection of others. They're a reclamation of yourself. So start small. Don't look at the big picture. Start small. Speak gentle. Pause often. And remember, every boundary you set is a love letter to your future self. Now, before we go, I have an exercise for you to try out today. And what I'd like you to do is actually try it out and let me know how it works for you. Email me at catalystmotivationpodcast@gmail.com. I'd love to hear how this works out for you. All right. It's called a boundary check-in. So what I want you to do is I want you to grab a notebook, digital or paper, and you're going to write down 3 recent times you said yes, but wanted to say no. And for each one, you're going to ask the following 3 questions. Number 1, what was I afraid would happen if I said no? What was I afraid would happen if I happened to say no? Number 2, what actually happened? What actually happened? Number 3, what would I do differently next time? What would I do differently next time? Because this isn't about blame. It's about awareness. Because awareness is the first step to change. Folks, boundaries aren't walls. They're doors with locks you control because you have the key. They don't push people away. They show people how to love you better. So next time you feel that tug of war between guilt and self-respect, remember, every no to others is a yes to yourself. That's it for today. Thank you so much for listening. If this episode resonates with you, please share with someone who might need it. Like and subscribe to our podcast for more motivational content. Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Threads, TikTok for even more inspiration. And please, please, please make sure to pick up the book, The Ways of Compromise, my first book. I'm so excited. It's out on digital and paperback right now. Thank you so much for joining us for episode 122. We look forward to seeing you next time for episode 123. Go be great.